Off the leash, off and running, week 12 of the books for the Cleveland Browns. Mark Schwab, Leah, Doherty, Ashley Holder with you for the big fun share, the big program. All right, a lot of injuries to get to, and it sounds like they are not severe. So we are going to start with our traditional true-false question. True-false question, ladies. Yesterday, or game day on Sunday, was Kevin Stefanski's worst coaching performance of the year.
I got to think back to all the games, what I thought was poor. I guess off the top of my head, I would probably say yes. Yeah. Maybe that's because I can't remember the early weeks of the season, too, and specifically what each game looked like. Mm-hmm. I would say yes. It was just shocking early on in the game how little they ran the ball, and I didn't really understand why. And I didn't get to hear Coach's press conference today if he touched on that a little bit per se, and it was uncharacteristic how many drops they had yesterday as well. So maybe if there weren't as many drops, maybe we wouldn't be. But the Broncos have such a poor run defense. Heading into the game, they were the worst in the league. And so wouldn't that be your go-to, especially when you have a quarterback you don't necessarily fully trust him to throw the deep ball yet? And so maybe they're thinking, well, the Broncos are just assuming that we're going to run the ball every single time, so we're going to catch them off their toes and take a couple shots. But then when that's not working for you, let's go to the ground game. And they just didn't. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I probably have to agree. Sorry for my...
She's working through the cough.
Everybody is coughing, y'all. Everybody's still...
I don't know. Shout out to Leah and her amazing...
I take vitamin C gummies every day. Do y'all?
I do take vitamins and they're not doing anything
Maybe y'all need to double up on your vitamin C gummies.
Clearly. I got to do something with that. But I'll just say yeah, because I think it was his worst collectively. I would have probably had the first game with DTR for the Ravens, but defensively they weren't awful in that game. I think collectively they were not good this game at all. But I also think the defense was just the Broncos defense was just kind of swallowing the Browns, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like we would say just go to their run game, but they just were discombobulated everywhere. And things were just going downhill pretty quick, and they stayed that way. And I feel like they were all off. I don't know what time they got up that high to that altitude or what they were doing, or
they were the much more physical team, and it was
absolutely
evident.
Yeah, and I feel like now and then the drop passes I can't put on Stefanski because Stefanski can't force a guy to go out there and catch the damn ball. Like, they have to do that themselves. So,
but then if they're not catching balls, like, I don't know, you gotta like try something else. You gotta adjust.
There was a lot of drop passes to the point you're thinking, why?
Right.
Like, that's on them. I feel like that's on them. Like, Njoku's crazy with these drop passes right now.
I'm going to say true. I believe it was for the reasons we've talked about. You brought up the run game. I mean, at one point, it was late in the first half. They had run the ball. They have registered 4 carries. I have to phrase it that way because one of them was Harrison Bryant's fumbled snap. One of them was DTR. So at that point, late in the first half, or maybe midway through the second quarter, but it was not early in the second quarter, Ford had 1 carry, Hunt had 1 carry. What in the world was going on? By the time they got to the end of it, Ford goes 9 for 65 at 7.2 a clip. When you got DTR out there, what in the world are we doing? And it came up in the Zoom on Monday. You know, why did you do that? You want to catch him off guard? As soon as you go to catch him off guard, they're going to know we're doing it. I think of Arthur Smith having his 3rd-string tight end throw to his 2nd-string tight end while Kyle Pitts is blocking. You're right. No one will see that coming because it's dumb. You know, the same concept here. We got it. They're probably expected to run the ball. Everyone else is expected to run the ball on them too, and they do.
It was the same concept too when they had, what is it? They were trying to do the reverse with like Elijah Moore and Pierre Strong.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? Like, we don't need that.
That's not the time to be doing any of that, literally.
You have DTR in there, you're down, like you're not playing well, and it's like, what? That is not the time to try something like that. It was just they couldn't take care of the ball either. It was just...
And you saw how awful that turned out. Like, it's just, that was not the time for any of that. But I kind of feel like they were in the point where they were just trying to find a spark and make something happen, and it failed.
And if it works,
miserably.
right, no one says anything about it. I get it. That's the hard part of being a coach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. If you're going to call that, You have to be right. And you can say, well, that's real easy to second guess. Well, I'll tell you what, that's kind of his job, right? His job and his offensive coaches, AVP, if you're going to call that, you better be right. They were wrong. And I don't, by the way, had Strong caught the pitch, I don't think that really goes anywhere anyway, or at least nothing.
Exactly.
That's not a big hitter. I mean, I think they whiffed on the call, and obviously the players whiffed on the execution.
They were looking for some type of just spark from somebody, and it just wasn't happening. And then I feel like once the Broncos got that touchdown and they won that challenge, basically it was kind of, they just were depleted at that point, because now you got to play catch up the rest of the way. Which they were the entire game.
If DTR played the whole game and continued to perform like he was, do you guys think that he's starting on Sunday?
Yeah.
You would think.
And I think yeah.
I think at this point they've made it so, like, pummeled it in our heads that they believe in him and they think this guy's going to be, well, do they really think that he's going to be good? I don't know. But at this point, they're like, they pummeled it in our brains that this is who it is. They don't really care to go to PJ at this point.
But what about Flacco?
That's the question. Is it Flacco on Sunday or DTR? If he
can even play.
If he can play, it's got to be DTR. I believe it is. I might be wrong.
But
Kevin Stefanski wouldn't get into that on Monday.
Yeah, because he always does this on Wednesdays. Right. So we have to ask these questions on Wednesday.
And then we know Wednesday it'll be a little day today. We're working through the
for you to be in the concussion protocol and then be out of the concussion protocally by Sunday morning is a little freaking weird.
I don't think there's any way he plays, right? Or I didn't listen to it. What did he say about him?
Basically saying we'll work our way through the protocol. Yeah, he'll follow the protocol.
So because he said on Sunday after the game that he has a concussion, and I don't know how quickly you come back from that.
Some guys do come back the next week. It is kind of rare.
Yeah, and DTR put up on his Instagram basically say he popped my ASS and said LOL and said thanks for y'all concerns. So it sounds like, from there you can make whatever decision you want from there, but it sounds like, he got
him good.
Yeah,
he got him good. I don't think
did.
There should have been a penalty on it.
I do think at this point, I think you should put Flacco in at some point. Does he start? I don't know, but I don't care if I could care less if he starts the game.
You're looking for a spark?
I want to see if he plays, right? Mm-hmm. And my thing is, like, not only for the team, but you really low-key want to see what Flacco can do now. Like,
as like a fan,
what's Flacco look like? And you also need to know if, at this point, can we rely on him at any point if this guy can't go or whatever else. We know what PJ can do. We know what DTR can do. What's Flacco's going to do. And we got to remember, DTR did not have an amazing freaking game against the Steelers. What he did is he had a good drive when it needed to happen.
Yeah.
He didn't have a good game, so a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, he's going to kill it. Like, where did he kill it against the Steelers?
Before he got hurt against Denver, 14 of 29, 134 yards. I know there were some drops, but, add 3 completions on there. It's not a bad day, but it's not a great day. But come on. Well, here's another thing. And this is going to sound like I'm second guessing because the play resulted in a fumble, and I don't mean it to, but it's while we're talking about the way they go about things. What do you guys think of the Harrison Bryant under center for the 4th and 1, tush push, whatever you want to call it? Why isn't that either an actual quarterback? And I know he's your emergency quarterback, so that makes him not an actual quarterback. The roster says he's a tight end. Or give it to Kareem Hunt, who takes many snaps in Wildcat. I don't get that play. What is the benefit? What's the payoff there?
I get the benefit having that over a quarterback because Harrison Bryant, at least you're getting a little bit of a bigger guy in there that I think can kind of push through some guys, maybe a little bit more than...
That's what this whole thing's about. Like they did it with even with Watson, right? Mm-hmm. And Watson's a bigger guy.
Right, bigger than DTR, I feel like.
I don't get it. Maybe I'm nitpicking.
They're trying to catch him off guard, Mark.
Ash is just over here. I'm working on my cough drop. We're in a room. This room, by the way, we're in, it's about 58 degrees in there. There is a side of beef hanging in the corner. Basically. Ashley is bundled up like she's going out to a snowball fight.
And it's already getting dark outside.
And it's Ohio in November. I'm gonna be real. Like, Leah was like, why don't you go grab like your blanket down there or whatever? And I'm like, dude, I don't want to hear all these people complain if they watch this. I got a Steelers blanket.
You could have taken my blanket. It's a coffee blanket.
Okay, so I should have used that because my Steelers blanket's down. I'm like, I don't feel like arguing with people.
Or you could hide it under the table. People wouldn't know. It's something with like there's not AC and heat in here because in the summer it's hot and then now it's cold.
These are the problems of those that work at night.
I have a personal space heater. I might start bringing it up here.
I'm gonna ask someone to get us that because we deserve that. Now I do want to. I don't know if we're transitioning this, but what I will say is like, listen. At the end of the day, I feel like I've said this before, and I'm sure other people have said this before too. Like we were going to see the defense break down at some point. And I feel like this is the game that we actually saw that. I think this is the worst defensive performance, in my opinion, that they have had, because there was just so many holes, so many missed tackles, so
penalties,
many penalties, like everything. Myles Garrett really didn't show up this one, like, which is okay because he's supposed to have some games where he doesn't, right?
Well, and because he's hurt or whatever he's got going on.
Yeah, but it just collectively, it was a complete breakdown. Like, they made Russell Wilson look pretty solid.
How much of that do you think? Because I feel a bit of it had to do with missing Denzel Ward. It just felt like they missed him. There's a couple of plays. Cortland Sutton.
And they knew they could. When they knew that he was out, they knew they could target him. Mm-hmm. They knew they could who they could target and win.
I think a big part of that's that, and then I think part of it is whatever was going on with Myles Garrett. I mean, people were saying after the game he couldn't raise his arm.
He's doing the Joe Burrow high five with the other arm.
Couldn't fully raise his arm. He said he heard something pop. But didn't
but this is supposed to be the best defense in the world.
Yeah, and
it ain't Myles.
Stefanski said something like he doesn't have structural damage, right?
They said today he has a sore shoulder.
And he's day to day,
so
which
good.
means we all are. He joins the rest of us as day to day.
I got a cough and I'm day to day.
We're all day to day.
I'm minute by minute, Mark.
That's
minute
it.
by minute.
Minute by minute, day by day. But
I feel like if you're gonna say you're the best defense in the world, it can't all rely. Like, it shouldn't break down if Myles isn't there, right?
Well, and that was the question.
You gotta have these other guys stepping up.
That I think I posed last week is how long can you sustain putting DTR out there and then just relying on your defense to win you games? And we saw that. But that's not what happened. You can't. How long can you really go the whole rest of the season relying on your defense to win you games? And you can't.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to have to figure it out, and we'll see. Obviously, day-to-day means he could practice Wednesday, he could be out Wednesday, limited Thursday, see him next week. So, I mean, it's still early in the week. I mean, if you're listening to this on Wednesday or Thursday, there's just still so many unknowns to sort out. But it sounds like, Cooper, all those guys, obviously
X-rays
DTR
came back negative for Cooper, which is good.
That's very good, obviously. So, you went out of that game, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I got all these guys hurt, DTR and Myles and Cooper. I mean, right now anyway, it sounds like they've avoided anything catastrophic. They have the Rams on deck. They are staying out west, something this team normally does not do. They are doing it this time. Fine, cool. We won't see them in Berea for practice this week. But they've got the Rams on deck. The Rams just throttled Arizona. The Browns just throttled Arizona. This is one of the... I feel like it's hard to talk about this game when we don't know, is Garrett going to play? Is Ward going to play? Who the quarterback is? I mean, it's really hard at this point because there's so many key positions with big question marks on whether or not there's going to be guys out there.
Did you would you like to see Flacco on Sunday? I don't know if we asked you about that.
I put it this way. I feel like the season is lost anyway.
This is the best chance for you to look at Flacco compared to the season.
Yeah,
I don't want to see Flacco. I'll say this.
I might as well.
I need to know what he can do now because the Jaguars are next, and that game is going to matter as well. So if we're going to do it, you need to go against a team that's 4-5. Go ahead and handle him now.
And maybe you don't start him, but I at least
I don't care if he starts.
Yeah.
Like, him having an asterisk next to his name don't mean nothing to me.
Because guess what? What if DTR takes another hard hit or something? I mean, you never know. Like, what if he goes down again? That's a likely possibility.
I think what's more important is not more important, but what their schedule really looks like and how they look. Do they make it to 10 wins? And off their schedule, I mean, I think it's very fair that they could probably go 3-3, to be honest with you.
Here's something. If let's say DTR is out, I mean, are we in agree? I feel like we all agree here. They can't run Walker out there again. We have seen that ride.
Y'all have to stop putting me in y'all Walker's slander. I told y'all know I like PJ.
So I think
PJ doesn't play scared, and I like that about him.
Would you rather see him out there instead of Flacco?
Well, I need to see Flacco first.
You don't know what he is.
Yeah, when I can figure out what Flacco is, then I think I'm okay with then I can answer that question.
Yeah.
But I think when you look at PJ and DTR, to me they're the damn same player. I don't think there's that much of a difference when it comes to them, except one chucks the ball a little bit more than the other one does.
Well, I think DTR is better on his legs too. I like that he can run the ball for a little bit of extra yardage. I think that's an advantage of him.
So looking down the docket here, you brought up, can they get to 10 wins? So that's a fair question.
I'm giving them the Bengals. I'm giving them Chicago and
Jets.
Los Angeles and Jets.
So that's 4.
Well, right. But one of those one of them in my mind, they're going to lose. I don't know if it's LA or if it's Jets, but I know for sure Chicago and Bengals I'm going to give them. But they're going to 1-1 either the Rams or the Jets. Everyone else I have them, whoever is left.
They got Rams, Jaguars,
I have them
Bears,
losing.
Texans, Jets, Bengals.
I think CJ Stroud is playing amazing, and I think Christmas Eve, I think he might actually just go crazy on this thing.
And that's the thing. Like, you can point at 4 games, and I think we'd all pick the 4. Rams are winnable, Bears winnable, Jets winnable, Bengals winnable. I don't know, maybe Stroud, I don't know, but those are the 4, and you're never going to get all 4. Right? So you got to be reasonable. Maybe they only find a way to get 3. And who knows what this offense is in 3 games against Chicago or 4 games against the Texans.
Right.
We know Watson won't be there, but we don't know. Do we see, they did start to let DTR go down the field a little bit more, something we talked about they were going to need to do because you didn't see it against Pittsburgh. Started to see him do it a little more. That was great to see. Maybe things open up. Maybe it is Flacco. I don't know. But yes, you can tell a story where this team wins 10, 11 games, makes the playoffs, is a problem for somebody because of 95 and everything he brings in that defense. Unfortunately, it just feels like we all know how this is going to end sometime in disappointment because of the injury to Deshaun Watson. So,
yeah. I think this team, it's just so hard. You just never know what you're going to get. Like early on, we would have said Denver's going to be an easy win, but A, the way the Broncos are playing right now, and B, I feel like this team could win or lose any game. I mean, they go out and have performances like they do against the 49ers and against the Ravens, and you're like, they can beat anybody. And then sometimes you're like, well, they could lose to the Bears. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, you just like,
that is the nature of the NFL, obviously, the any given Sunday concept, and that phrase gets thrown around a lot, but it's because it's true.
Was that one you hate? Like next man up?
No.
Oh, he likes that one.
By the way, can we talk about next man up for a minute? Greg Newsome, we should have run this on the pod. It was last Monday.
Did he say he didn't like it?
No, Newsome gave.
He said it after Denzel Ward.
All right, here's the thing. Greg Newsome gave the explanation that everyone should give other than instead of just prattling off the 3 dumb words, next man up. And he actually did say next man up in the explanation, but he used it in the proper context, which is we lost guys that are pretty irreplaceable and everyone is going to have to do a little bit more. That is vastly different. Well, that guy's hurt, so that guy has to step up and do what that guy did. That's a dumb explanation.
Okay, but my thing is, you're literally saying the same thing that he said.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
It is not, because if you're saying
next man, what is the difference?
Here's the big difference. Next man up means the guy you're plugging in off the bench has to do exactly what that other guy did. The other explanation, then it's next men up.
If you go out sick and they say, Leah, you need to cover Mark, they expect you to go, and she just has to do a little bit more to get the job done to anchor.
It means you have to recreate him. It means you have to recreate him.
Go do the program. She's not going to come up here and say,
what's wrong with the program?
No, I like what you say, but she's not starting the episode talking about that.
My point is, you have to recreate him in the aggregate. It is a collective.
I feel what you're saying.
It is not a next person up.
But really, when you look at it like black and white, someone is out, the next person is now filling in that spot. Yeah. It is. I don't think it means you have to. I mean,
everybody has a spot, so technically, like you're saying, you have to get into it, right?
Yeah.
Not saying you got to be Myles Garrett.
You guys ever see?
You gotta.
Would they like you to be Myles Garrett? Would they like you to be Nick Chubb? Yes, but I don't think that's the expectation. Yeah. It's the next man is up. If you get sick and I have to fill in for you, they're not expecting me to do exactly what you do. It's we need someone to fill Mark's place.
No, they need somebody to do better at that point. Listen, he's way too loud. He's spasmodic. He's all over the place.
Right now, if they whenever I cover for Mark, I'm not going on there doing all that yelling. I'm not going. Welcome to the program.
It is It is PROGRUMM.
Do me a favor. Next episode, I think me and Leah should bring it in. We should welcome to the big program.
Maybe if we do an April Fool's episode,
would be great.
That's what we'll do.
Why do I sound like Irish or something?
All switch places.
I don't know.
Or something. And
that would be. Switch places. If somebody wants to start us off, that's just fine.
And if y'all fill in for me, you can say y'all Southern things. Talk about queso. Yeah.
Well, I married a Texan lady.
Exactly.
So I know these.
Mm-hmm. You were on top of it.
Briefly, before I moved her to Ohio, she used to say fixin' all the time.
Yeah.
She quit saying fixin'.
All that stuff.
Yeah, but I still get. She got me saying y'all. I say y'all now all the time.
Well, that's why I don't want. I felt like Leo was rubbing off of me when I came into the house. I'm like, "What's up? How you doing?" I'm like, "That's freaking Leo." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Why am I saying that?" It was weird.
When I walk in, or always say Happy Monday, Happy Tuesday, whatever the day is.
I feel like you've never told me Happy Monday.
All right,
I'm upset about it.
Happy Monday, Ashley.
we
in case
are
I haven't told you.
so far afield right now. It is astounding, and that's not how we direct the program.
Oh my
Gosh.
What else were we supposed to talk about? It wasn't a great game.
It was not. I mean, that's the thing.
Well, let's talk about this. I think that
Are you doing this?
Oh, the safety. I forgot about the safety. But
we never got the bingo card, did we?
No. Well, we got a something type of safety, not that. But I want to say this. I think that the Bills and the Eagles was the best game of the season
That
so far.
field
It was so
goal?
freaking crazy. And I hate
Missed the whole thing.
Electric.
You didn't
Missed
see
the
any
whole
of it?
thing.
What
Did
were
you watch
doing?
highlights?
What were you doing?
It was my kid's second birthday, and I still watched the game.
I know you're better than me. I didn't have. By the way,
Did you fix your dryer? Is that what you were doing?
I started on that yesterday and today,
okay.
and it turns out I didn't fix it.
You didn't fix it. You got to call.
I ordered a new timer.
My dad's like that. He thinks he can fix everything.
tried,
and then my
but
stepmom's like, please just order.
I got a part coming in. I got a part coming in on Friday. I think I can get there.
So he's
Do you
going
know
to
how to mount TVs?
What's that?
Do you know how to mount TVs?
I do.
Could you mount my TV?
You know,
I have 4 TVs I need mounted. I'm serious.
That's the first time that Matt ever saw me cry was when he tried to mount my TV when he was moving into me.
He broke it?
When he was moving me into my first apartment in Texas, in Lubbock. This was the first move without my parents. I know we're way off topic here.
This is what happens when the season begins to devolve with injuries.
Yeah. But it's so funny that you mentioned that. It was my first move without my parents. It was during COVID, so they didn't come up. Normally, my dad mounts my TV for me. Matt was like, I got this, no problem. This is my fiance. I'm talking about Matt. He was like, I got this, no problem. I was like, great, you'll mount it. It won't take long, and then I'll make dinner for us, and we'll be good to go, and it'll be a great evening. Like 6 hours later, there's about 12 holes in my wall.
What?
We're going back and forth to Home Depot to buy different stud finders. We need this, we need this. We're FaceTiming my dad. My dad's like, move it here. I can't see. What are you doing?
What's going on?
And so Matt goes in the other room to do something, and he comes back into my bedroom, and I'm just sitting on my bed crying. And because you know when you were just so frustrated that there's nothing left to do but cry.
Yeah.
And I was hungry. It was 10 o'clock at night at this point. I was supposed to make us dinner. Yeah, I was supposed to make us dinner. It's 10 o'clock at night, and I'm just sitting there.
DoorDash.
I'm sitting there crying, and he's
So what? So how did the TV get up?
Oh, we called one of our guy friends the next day, and he did it in 5 minutes. And Matt was like, dude, you couldn't have struggled a little bit. Here, Matt has a good friend that lives here out in Stowe, and he drove over and mounted it for us.
Can I give him? Can I break him off some dollars?
He came and mounted our TV.
I'm serious. I need 4 TVs mounted.
Yeah, I'll call him.
I'm not joking. I was looking at TaskRabbit and stuff like that. And it's a little expensive. Excuse me. Do not put the radio up on me, okay? I'm trying to get some TVs mounted.
Let her finish, Mark.
He's just mad because he didn't know how to fix the dryer.
I had to fix the timer.
No, bring the TV. Bring the music up. Bring the music up.
I'm trying to fix the dryer.